Hello and welcome to the tutorial of using your Raspberry Pi without any monitor, keyboard or anything, just with LAN. So here are the steps. Now in this tutorial we are going to learn the installation of the Raspbian, that is the Raspberry Pi operating system, and we are also going to see how to access a Raspberry Pi purely using LAN. So we'll require a SD card, a cross LAN cable. So let us start. We'll first put the SD card, and we do require certain software. I already have some software. So first let's see that I had already put one Raspbian operating system into my SD card. So I require a SD formatter first. Let me start with the internet connection and let me get the SD formatter first. So you require a SD formatter and Win32 disk imager. These are the two software that you require to start with. Get a SD formatter, SD formatter 4.0 that would nicely format your SD card. Now what happens is when you put Raspbian or any other Linux operating system in your SD card, often Windows doesn't see the partitions. Your SD card will be looking like 50 MB or 100 MB card, so you require a good quality SD formatter in order to format it. Now I'll start with the SD formatter. When I start, you can see that my disk, which is about 16 GB, it's showing only 780 MB, and even if I refresh it, it doesn't show anything much because already there was a Linux operating system in it. Now if you do have Linux operating system already installed in your SD card, you can go with easy partition, that is EaseUS partition. It's a good partition manager. Interestingly, many of the features are free, which you require really. You can get the EaseUS partition master from by typing it in Google and then finally downloading it. It's great. Only this is the partition manager that would show you there's a partition manager that's going to show you the details about the partition. So I'll start up with the partition process, and you can see that it's showing rest of the 13 GBs. Also I'll first delete the partition, and then I'll create a single partition of say 14 GB. It should be a FAT32 type. So I'm going to give some partition label name, which of course will be changed at later on. I'll create the partition and say apply. Right, all the operations will be permanently being affected in the SD card. So to start with, you require EaseUS partition, SD partitioner, as well as disk imager in order to work with this. Now once the partition gets over, you can come back to your my computer and can see that your SD card is really now showing. See here, it's showing 14 GB exactly. Now our rule is to put the Raspbian operating system, install the Raspbian operating system over here. So we can go for Raspberry Pi operating system, and you see it recommends noobs, but don't worry of going with the noobs. It's not really helpful if you are going for LAN connection. If you have monitor, keyboard, everything, that's fine, but I'd highly recommend you go for Raspbian. So I've already downloaded Raspbian. It is in an image format. Now I need to install this image into your card so that your SD card is bootable. You cannot directly do that. You require an image, you require a software that can install an image into an SD card, and for that we have Win32 disk image. Download this. There's a great piece of software, easy, simple, free. Just download this one. Note down the URL here. You can directly check out, or remember Win32 disk imager, which you can of course get it from Google. So I've already had this. I'd be opening this software. The best thing about this software is that it can easily find out which is your SD card, because what happens is, in the process of transferring the image, if you make a mistake and put another drive, your whole drive's data is going to get corrupted and would never be recoverable. So be very concerned with this. So I'll be putting this image, and I'll just say write. And this image of Raspbian is now going to be transferred entirely into my SD card. Once done, it will take a certain time. I've fastened it off over here. So once it is done, it's going to show write successful message. Now exit it and come back to my computer and check out your SD card. You are going to see no partition over here. Just I'll remove and reinsert the SD card. I've removed it and reinsert. Now you can see that it's showing the boot partition. It's only 46 MB out of 59 MB. It doesn't show any other thing, and there are certain files over here. These are only the files that are required for booting. So the operating system is pretty much installed in your SD card. Now it's time for us to put back this SD card into my device, that is my Raspberry Pi device, and I'll be powering up the Raspberry Pi device along with the LAN cable. Now for networking, we require certain prerequisite to be done. Open your network center, go for change the adapter setting. So when you go for adapter setting, you can see that embellish USB modem, which is my USB modem for accessing internet, and local area connection, which is the Ethernet connection. Now I need my embellish USB modem to be shared by local area connection, because I want my Raspberry Pi to be accessible through internet. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to first make embellish USB modem being shareable by my local area connection. So first enable the local area connection such that your computer, I'm assuming that you have a cross cable. Now if you have a cross cable, you either require to provide a static IP address to your computer, or you need to have a sharing option. So right click and open it. Open the TCP/IP protocol, go for properties. You can see the IP address which is being marked as static IP address. It's not dynamically configured from a DHCP server. Remember this, because in the case of a cross cable, you really want your system to have a static IP address. Now I'll be opening my USB modem. Go for properties, go for sharing. When you go for sharing, just see in the list of available connection, you have a local area connection. So select local area connection and allow the network to be selected through this. Don't bother about the error message, but once you say OK, now it's going to show you that it's going to allocate an IP address to your computer through local area network. Just note down that IP address. Of course, that would be available later on. So my address is 192.168.137.1. This is pretty significant here. We'll see why it is so. So this is the IP address that's going to be allocated to your computer once the networking is established. We'll say okay. Now the next step is to get the IP address of your Raspberry Pi. You can see one very important thing over here. If you look at the local area connection, it's now blue color, which means that it's communicating. So your Raspberry Pi is definitely is also allocated with an internet access, and the communication has been going on because it's shown in blue color. So that means that connection is active. Now we need to see the IP address. I know the IP address of my computer right now. We need to see the IP address of our Raspberry Pi. So disconnect your internet connection, give a message, say ARP minus A. ARP minus A. It's the command is ARP minus A. So when you give this command, it will show you the response from all the other this thing. So we'll just show the process. Here is my Raspberry Pi device. This is my SD card. I'll show you how we have got it connected, so that you are safe from any misconception or any mistakes. So just put your SD card back into the device, and I have this Ethernet connection. As you can see that my USB slots are free. I have no keyboard, monitor, nothing is connected. I have a cross cable, RJ45 network cross cable. This is one end that's connected to my Raspberry Pi, and the other end on the left corner you can see the network pins, LEDs glowing. So if your networking is perfect, your LED will be blinking. That should mark that there is a connection. See the other end of the which is attached to my laptop's network card, and this is how the connection is. One end of the RJ cable is connected with the laptop, the other one is connected with my Raspberry Pi. So coming back to our address, but here when you generate ARP minus A, you hardly see any other address with 192.168.137.255. don't bother, because that's a broadcast address. So you need to restart your computer at this stage. Let me say it once more. You need to restart your computer. I've restarted my computer once. As you can see, the screen has changed literally. Once you've done, in the default gateway, put your computer name, say close. After restarting, when you start with your computer, ensure that your Windows firewall is turned off. This is not really the ideal thing that you want to do, but as a beginner to start with your Raspberry Pi connection, you do not want to really get any packet loss due to firewall. So I'd prefer you to stop the firewall, but once you are comfortable with the process, you can check out with others. Now when you generate ARP minus A after restarting the system, you can see you get one more IP address with the same class of your current address. Your system address is 192.168.137.1, and you get one more address which is 0.96. Now because there are only two computers which is communicating over the LAN, and this 137.1 is your system address in the LAN, the other one is definitely Raspberry Pi. So this is how you get the Raspberry Pi address. Now most of the tutorial I see online is but tells you, somehow you have got to get the address of Raspberry Pi, but they hardly mention how you get the address of Raspberry Pi. So this is how you generate ARP minus A command. And why you have closed down network connection is I'll be downloading PuTTY, which is very important, because I'll be getting the Raspberry Pi to run through PuTTY. PuTTY is a terminal software. You can have a remote login or access a remote machine through it. Just go to PuTTY website and download putty.exe. You also require Xming server. Xming server can decode the X11 screens which comes from Unix in the GUI mode. So just download the Xming server. It can interpret the GUI version, so you require both of them if you really want to open the GUI mode also. Now coming back to my networking stuff, so I get the Raspberry Pi address really. I'll show you my server. Just set up the Xming server. I've already set up, it's already there in my system, and PuTTY is also there. So these two servers I require at a later stage. This is the Xming server. When you click on this, a server will be running. You'll see nothing much other than X symbol in your system tray. Now when you click on that, it's going to say exit. Nothing is there, so let your server run in the background, because you're not really accessing any GUI at this moment. You need to install it. So double click on PuTTY. You know the IP address. This is the IP address of your Raspberry Pi. Put this address in SSH, but before that you need to set up the X11, because you also want to access the GUI mode. Make X11 forwarding true. Now here you have to specify the address. X display location should be the location of Xming server, which is running in your local host. So you'll give localhost 0 as the location of Xming server. We'll go to the session mode and we'll specify the IP address which you have got through ARP-A. So the IP address here is 192.168.137.96. This is your Raspberry Pi address, and when you say open, I will give you a potential security breach message. Just say yes. Bingo! It's asking for login name. For Raspberry Pi, default login name is Pi, and the password is Raspberry. Keep the password, say enter, and bingo, you have now logged into your Raspberry Pi. You can see the Linux system. It's shown that you have logged into Raspberry Pi. Alright then. Now there are certain things that we could do, So first we need to upgrade our system. We need certain commands to be generated. So first I'll use config. So using sudo raspi config, it will open a config screen. First I need to expand the file system, which will be expanding the root file system, followed by an update. So there are several options, but I really do want 3 options. One is expanding the file system, followed by supporting the desktop mode, and third updating the system. So you can go inside advanced options, and here you have an option called update. So just select update. Once you select update, you can see all your software packages and the entire repository is going to be updated. This is an important step, because most of the softwares you are going to install into your Raspberry Pi will be through sudo apt-get command. Once the software is updated, we'll be going for, so you can see a lot of packages are going to be uploaded. Lots of packages are going to be updated. Once the updation is completed, it's going to get you back into your config screen. Just say finish. Now a few of the other softwares also we require. It shows the successful message. A few of the other commands I require. First one is sudo apt-get upgrade. So once your software package is updated, ensure that every package is updated to the recent version. Just give sudo apt-get upgrade, which is going to upgrade your system. So update, and that should be followed by upgrade. Once you're able to successfully connect to Raspberry Pi, you should first update your system using these two commands. All the other operation could be just followed. The entire installation and updation would be performed online, because remember, you had shared your internet connection through your local area network, and your Raspberry Pi device is happily now accessing the packages. I mean, happily accessing your internet connection. So once update and upgrade is done, we'll go for a couple of more software. First, I'll be installing GEdit, which is a graphical editor. It's a very important graphical editor. It can perform C programs and other programs. You can use it as a WordPad. So by the end of this tutorial, I really want to show you a simple C program. So GEdit is installed. It's going to take a little time. Don't worry about that. This is quite a stable process. So once the GEdit is installed, I also want to install the X11 Manager, which is XDM. So this is the GUI manager, which is going to present the GUI screens to your Xming, which will be interpreted. So install XDM. It's going to show you two modes. Just select XDM and install this. Having installed GEdit, XDM, you'll be pretty much ready, working with productive level work with your Raspberry Pi. Having done, now let us see how GUI mode works. So far all we were doing was we were using command mode. So just say GEdit, give some file name. I'll be writing a C file, say my.c, say enter. When you enter it, it's going to open a graphical window in the Linux system, which will be immediately interpreted by Xming server, and Xming is going to display you the GUI. Now you can see, yes, Xming server has interpreted and your GUI file is here. Let me now attempt a hello world C program. You see, I've opened my.c. So just start a hello world C program. Simple hello world, and next line just after that. So I'll save this, I'll close this one. When I close this, you can see that in the command prompt, it's again going to be back into your command. Let me check out if what is the structure of the program. So when you save, you can see my.c, so that will be saved in your home directory. Just compile it, cc-o my.c. It's going to create an executable file by name my, and /my. So that's going to run the C program. That's it. So I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. This is how we can really make Raspberry Pi working with this. Now, there is one more thing that I'd like to show you before I leave. There is a browser in Raspberry Pi called Epiphany-browser. there are certain software, say for instance NS2 light version and other things that you might want to install from the browser. So you can just open your Epiphany browser by typing Epiphany-browser, Epiphany-browser. When you do that, you'll see that the browser is available. It's quite fast. It's light, light mode browser, and you can access your data. And if you need some big installation, you can do it from here. So yeah, and so you can resize the size of your X11 also. It's going to accordingly show you the window, and I'll just search my website, our company website here, and see if how fast or how graphic intensive display it supports. Now our website is quite graphics intensive, really, with a lot of images. So you can see the response of the browser is quite fast. The browser is quite nice. It shows you the sites. So this is how you can actually access your Raspberry Pi without any monitor extra hardware, just like your Arduino, which you used to program using serial communication. All you require is a Ethernet cable to work with Raspberry Pi. You want efficient coding. You definitely do not want to connect all the extra hardwares. You can just keep a Raspberry Pi in your laptop bag with an cable, and you can get on with the Pi coding anywhere. So the objective of this tutorial was to really get everything from the basics, and to work with Pi you can also prefer to go with Eclipse installation. You can Eclipse install Eclipse. That's a good programming environment. I'm going to cancel it over here. I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. Thanks for being with me. Have a nice coding.